This month, we have a new moon solar eclipse in the partnership sign of Libra, signaling fresh starts and new beginnings. All of this, an empowered moment and more, in my new monthly energy forecast for October 2024. Stay tuned. This is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from Sacred Soul Empowerment, here to do our monthly forecast. For this month of October, we're going to be using the Syrian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha, the main message for everyone, and then our special message card, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Gateway of Light Activation deck by Kyle Gray. So before we get into your stones of choice for that special message card or the highlights for the month of October, let's go ahead, close our eyes, settle in, and do an empowered moment. So close your eyes and take a deep breath. And as you exhale, imagine that you're releasing all that your body and mind and soul no longer needs to hold on to. Visualizing, sensing, seeing, feeling, or just knowing that you're surrounded in beautiful golden white light. This is the golden white light of unconditional love, compassion, healing, peace, guidance, and protection. Take a deep breath and breathe that in to every cell of your body. Breathing in that love, that peace, that balance and harmony. And as you exhale, letting your body just relax even more. And focusing our attention on the energy of new beginnings. Last month in September, we had a full moon lunar eclipse, which signaled a time of healing, releasing, letting go, and possibly endings. The ending of chapters in our lives, the ending of situations and circumstances, the ending of mindsets, belief systems, a way of feeling, a way of being or experiencing life. And those endings may still be, for a lot of us, unfolding. But now we have a new moon solar eclipse to begin this month of October, and new moons are about new beginnings, fresh starts, planting new seeds. And in the sign of Libra, it's about relationships, partnerships, balance, harmony, equality, justice, fairness, compromise, cooperation, and peace. The eclipse is going to magnify these energies of new beginnings. We're in a portal right now, a magnified portal of endings and new beginnings that will carry on through the next few weeks and perhaps even months. It's a transitional energy for our soul. The evolution of our soul is expanding and growing. So focus on the energy of endings and new beginnings, and where do you need to release something in your life? And what new thing or energy or feeling or mindset would you like to create and manifest as we move into this portal of new beginnings? So as you hold these intentions in your mind, take in a deep breath. And as you exhale, imagine that you're sending those intentions of what you want to release and what you want to create out into the universe. Asking the angels of the highest vibration of light to carry those intentions out, away, and up into the highest spheres, where it can all be made manifest in your highest and best interest. And take one last deep healing, cleansing, and balancing breath. And as you exhale and in your own time, you can open your eyes and return to this time and place and space. And let's go ahead and take a look at our stones of choice. So the first stone of choice is rose quartz. This one is a rose quartz heart, and rose quartz is actually known as the heart stone. It's also a stone of unconditional love and compassion and forgiveness. It's a stone of inner healing, and it's a stone of self-love as well. Your second stone of choice is strawberry quartz. And I like this one because it's in the shape of a crescent moon, and we are having a new moon solar eclipse to begin the month. So strawberry quartz helps to promote feelings of love and compassion and tranquility. And I'm going to add peace to that list. So love, compassion, tranquility, and peace. And strawberry quartz also helps to dissolve emotional blockages. And then our last stone of choice is what's called flower agate, and it's also called cherry blossom agate. So the flower agate or cherry blossom agate helps you to find your sense of purpose and renewed commitment in your dreams. It is also good for emotional healing, and it's also a stone of transformation, especially on the emotional body level. So again, our stones of choice are the rose quartz, the strawberry quartz, or the flower agate or cherry blossom agate. So let me actually set these aside here. And we're going to talk a little bit about the month of October. All right. So the month of October, if we find out what that universal month vibration is, we take the universal year vibration of the 8 for 2024. We add it to the number 10 because October is the 10th month of the year. And 10 plus 8 is a 19. An 18, right? I can add. So 10 plus 8 is 18. So in numerology, we want to reduce that down to a single digit. 1 plus 8, there's the 9. So 9 is a number, it's the last of the single digit numbers, and so it does seem to signify that this is a month of closure, a month of completion. There's something coming, you could say to an end, but I think a better word here is something's coming to completion, because we could be completing a karmic cycle, for instance. We could be completing an old way of thinking or believing or perceiving something in our lives. And sure, this could bring some endings through situations and circumstances and maybe even some relationships, but the completion and closure is more on this karmic level and what we have needed to learn so that we can move forward into a new beginning, right? So with this number, it's made up of a 1 and an 8, right? The 9 is very feminine. It's very divine feminine. It's very unconditionally loving, compassionate, forgiving, healing, intuition, humanitarian, artistic, creative. It's all that divine feminine energy. But it's made up, in this case, of a 1 and an 8. And the 1 is a masculine energy, and the 8 is a masculine energy. So I really think we're needing to balance the divine feminine with the divine masculine. We're needing to balance surrender and trust and faith, which is the number 9, with action and leadership and the ability to take charge and have responsibility for the path we're walking forward, which is that masculine energy of the 1 and the 8. Now, if we look at the 18th Major Arcana in the Tarot, it is the Moon card. We do have a new moon solar eclipse on October 2nd, so it's not surprising that we have the Moon card. Usually the Moon card seems to, be more maybe about full moon energies than about new moon energies, because you can see the rising of the tide here with the full moon in the background, and the rising of our emotions and feelings, the rising or expansion or intensification or magnification of our intuition and psychic abilities. This is all part of what the moon card is about. But because this is an eclipse, and just previous to the new moon eclipse, we're kind of in the dark of the moon. So really, it's that first day of the month. We're in the dark of the moon phase, and then boom, we have this new moon solar eclipse where we can, you know, usually they say during eclipses, don't set intentions, because eclipses are like a wild card. So I was going to say, you know, you can set your intentions for a new beginning or a fresh start, but really it's about just holding the idea that there is going to be a new beginning or a fresh start. Now, you may or may not have the ability to kind of direct that at this time, because eclipses as a wild card energy is the universe coming in and saying, you know what, you're a little bit off course here. You're a little bit off your path, your soul's path. And we need to take you from here and replant you over here. And so sometimes with eclipses, things just kind of come in and happen to reorganize our lives and to take us from point A to point Z, right? And we're not even really trying to go from point A to point Z. In fact, maybe we want to stay in point A because it's comfortable and it's familiar. But the universe is trying to give us this little gentle push that says, you know what, you have to get over here really quickly, because it's time to move to the next step of your evolution and growth. It's time to move to the next step on your highest and most important path. And you can't do it from point A over here. You have to be over here. So the universe kind of picks you up, you know, maybe gently, maybe not so gently, and places you where you're supposed to be. And so even though it's a new moon solar eclipse and not a full moon, like this card would maybe suggest with that full moon, we still have the rising of the emotions. We have the rising of the energies that are shifting us, just like the waves in the ocean kind of shift the current. So we're being shifted. The current of our life is being shifted here. Now, the moon card in the tarot to rule this month of October can be about our fears and anxieties and insecurities. The moon card can rule that. But the moon card can also rule, again, our healing, the healing of our soul, our psychic abilities being magnified, listening to our intuition, getting in touch with our higher soul self, healing the emotional body. All of these things are indicated in this month of October, which makes sense since we had the full moon lunar eclipse the middle of last month, September, and now we're in this eclipse portal and continuing with that new moon solar eclipse. So we're in a very, you know, this might be turbulent. There might be some turbulence going on, but it can also just be, again, a rising of the tide and a rising of our emotions and intuitions to lead us, you know, listening to our higher soul self, which is the intuitive part of ourselves, to lead us to where we need to go next, or allowing the current of the ocean, the current of our lives, to just take us to where we need to go, to surrender, have faith, and go with the flow. It's like being in a rowboat without any oars. You're just going to allow the ocean current or the river current, you know, to kind of just take you where you need to go in that boat without being able to steer it. And that's kind of what this month of October is all about. So let's put that aside and let's talk about the highlights astrologically for this month. Now, we've talked about it a lot already. On October 2nd, we have a new moon solar eclipse. It's at 10 degrees of Libra. Libra is the sign of relationships and partnerships, but it's also about balance, harmony, equality, compromise, cooperation. And Libra is always about the scales of justice, right? It's like she's often holding the scales of justice. So this can be about a karmic rebalancing that's going on with this eclipse. There's something that's been out of balance maybe in our lives. Maybe it is a situation or a relationship, but it could just as well be something out of balance within ourselves. Maybe we're not standing in our authentic truth. Maybe we're repeating a karmic lesson over and over again. So the scales are out of balance. maybe we keep attracting the same kind of situation into our lives. So here's the karmic scales of justice with Libra coming in to rebalance things for this new moon solar eclipse. Now remember, it's not just the day of the eclipse. This is going to be the days, the weeks, and maybe even the months after that our life is being redirected. Usually they say that eclipses last until the next set of eclipses. And there's usually 2 sets of eclipses in a year. So basically we're looking at maybe the next 6 months or so until the next set of eclipses for whatever's unfolding in our lives right now to really settle in. Okay, it doesn't mean it can't happen sooner. The events may unfold within the next few weeks, but to really settle into what this new beginning is all about might take a few months. And then we're going to skip to the 9th of October. And this is when Jupiter, the planet of expansion and our belief systems, Jupiter is also the planet of abundance and prosperity and blessings. And he is turning to retrograde motion at 21 degrees of Gemini. Now, Jupiter likes to see the big picture and expand. Gemini is more about the smaller details. They're both information-based. Like Jupiter wants to expand into our higher belief systems, higher wisdom, higher knowledge, the philosophies that we carry. Gemini is more interested in the facts and some of the details and the little blips of information that it can attain or learn about. And so it's more about like the present moment, I guess. And Jupiter's more about, you know, what's the future going to be all about kind of thing. So as Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini, and I didn't necessarily write down how long it's going to be retrograde, but it's going to be definitely for a few weeks, up to a few months here. And it's going to internalize the energy. And so what I found with Jupiter and Gemini so far, as it went into Gemini in the springtime, right, is it's been almost like all these little possibilities. Like Gemini is the sign of the twins. So it's like 2 paths, 2 ideas, 2 potentials, and maybe even more than 2. And so if you think back over the last few months, have you been offered by the universe 2 paths or 2 or more paths to potentially follow, 2 or more opportunities, decisions to make where there's 2 or more possibilities in making this decision? So it's a little confusing because, you know, sometimes we just want the answer. We just want to be given the path. We don't want to be given 2 or 3 or 4 different possibilities, and then we have to make this decision and decide which one's the best one for us. But now as Jupiter retrogrades in Gemini, it internalizes the energy of kind of looking at what are our belief systems, because Jupiter rules belief systems. It internalizes, rather than thinking, you know, in the scope of externally, it's more like internally. What do I believe about myself? What do I believe about my life? What do I believe about my possibilities and opportunities? You know, and really just kind of looking at that mental body, because Jupiter rules kind of like the higher mental body. Gemini maybe rules the lower mental body. And so here with Jupiter and Gemini, we're really looking at our thoughts, our ideas, our perceptions, our perspectives, our belief systems, information that's coming in, and more so information that's being generated within ourselves, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the course of the next few weeks as Jupiter is retrograde. And then on the 11th of October, we've got Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, power and control, transformation, regeneration, transition, transmutation. Pluto rules the underworld and our subconscious and the shadow side of things. That's why it rules power and control and even manipulation and abuse. But on the positive end, again, it's about transformation. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes, born anew. And Pluto is going to turn back to direct motion at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So it went retrograde and it went back into Capricorn, but it stayed at that 29th degree, that last degree, right? And when it went retrograde, it was it just at 0 degrees? Boy, I don't even remember if it was at 0 or 1. But anyway, it just went into Aquarius, and we were feeling a whole brand new energy with this Aquarian, humanitarian, you know, kind of vibe. And then it went back in September into Capricorn, which rules more of the patriarchal system and big business and people that are in a position of authority or power. Now, don't get me wrong, Capricorn has its positive side, right? It's structured, it's organized, it's leadership oriented, it's productive, it's all of these wonderful things. But as far as ruling what we might call the third dimensional paradigm, with all of these like organizations where there's a patriarchal kind of from top to bottom sort of way to look at things, Pluto is transforming this. Pluto is causing this big death and rebirth energy in this area, and now it's going direct at that last degree. And the last degree of a sign is usually what's called a critical degree, because there's a lot happening. It's like a winding up of the energies of Pluto and Capricorn and what it has all meant for the past 20 some years while it's been there. You know, it's now like in the last part of this transformative process, because when it goes back into Aquarius in November, it'll stay in Aquarius for a good long time. And it doesn't mean that everything's going to be rainbows and sunshine and roses all of a sudden come November, but it's the beginning of a long process of kind of working more in the collective of groups, people of like mind, groups of like-minded people that are here to move us into the future and make the world a better place, because that's the humanitarianism of Aquarius versus the kind of patriarchal energy of Capricorn. Okay, so on an internal level too, this is about us taking our power back. You know, Pluto is about standing in your power, taking your power back if necessary in a particular situation, or just within yourself and your mindset and your belief systems. And then let me look at my notes here. On the 13th of October, we have Mercury, the planet that rules the mental mind, the mental body, our thoughts, ideas, perceptions, and communications, moving out of Libra, where it's been almost the first half of this month, which is the partnership sign, and now it's moving into Scorpio until November 12th. Now, Mercury is about logic and intellect, but it's moving into Scorpio, which is a water sign. So our perceptions are going to be more keen. We're going to be perceiving things more deeply. We're going to be reading between the lines and maybe reading people's body language, as well as maybe reading their minds, because Scorpio is a clairsentient sign. It feels energies. That's its psychic ability. It feels the energy vibrations. It feels when something's not right, or feels when somebody's not truthful, or feels when somebody's manipulating us. So, you know, Mercury in Scorpio too is great for business, because with Mercury being about logic and intellect, Scorpio is a big business sort of sign. It's really good in business. It's really good with taking kind of resources from other people and putting it together to make something work. Or Scorpio is also a money sign, so we might have new ideas or ways of creating more income for ourselves. So all of these things are going to be at play while Mercury's in Scorpio. And then on the 17th of October, we have a full moon in Aries. Now, it's not an eclipse because we've had our 2 eclipses, but full moons, again, it's heightening the emotions, and it's in Aries, and Aries is already quite reactive. You know, Aries is more of this reactive, knee-jerk reacting kind of sign, and full moons push our emotional buttons, right? We're more emotionally sensitive. So we might see that this full moon at 24 degrees of Aries on the 17th pushes people's emotional buttons, or people are more emotional than usual, maybe angry or assertive or irritable, because Aries does rule some of those things. Aries is the warrior, okay? And the warrior can get angry and impatient. So you might find some of these things during that full moon time period. Also, again, full moons are a time of completion or healing or releasing. So there's something here in regards to ourselves, because Aries is the sign of the self. We need to do some healing regarding self and our leadership and our confidence and our courage, all of those Aries keywords. Also on the same day, the 17th, Venus is moving out of Scorpio, and she's moving into the sign of Sagittarius. Venus rules love and relationships, partnerships, money, finances, values, and self-worth. Now she's moving into Sagittarius, the sign of liberation, freedom, expansion, intuition. I feel like there's a prophetic, intuitive ability with Sagittarius, inspiration, education, and belief systems. And she's going to be there until November 11th. I think the biggest thing with Venus and Sagittarius here is going to be that in relationships, she's going to want to feel more of a sense of freedom and liberation. She wants to expand into new horizons for herself. She wants to be inspired. And sometimes it's easier for us to feel inspired when we're able to kind of follow the beat of our own drum, so to speak. All right, and then the last thing we'll talk about is something that happens every year around this time, or every October around this time, October 22nd, the sun will be moving into Scorpio. So we're moving out of the sign of Libra, sign of relationships and partnerships, where the first about 3/4 of the month is more of a focus on the different relationships in our lives, romantic, friendship, family, even business. And now we're moving into Scorpio energies until around November 21st, 22nd. And so the sun is highlighting these Scorpio energies of power and empowerment and death and rebirth and transformation and regeneration, and maybe business and money and finances, and looking at things that are hidden beneath the surface, the mysterious, the metaphysical, and bringing that all out. I guess, I don't know if I want to say into the light, but definitely highlighting those areas. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna take a look at, see what the messages from our angels and guides are. Okay, so the first card that came out is the Lovers card, Major Arcana 6 and the Lovers. So not a big surprise, because we're in the time of Libra until the 22nd of October. The new Moon Solar Eclipse is in the sign of Libra, sign of partnership. So this definitely could pertain to a focus on romantic relationships, but the Lovers can also be other one-on-one types of relationships. And it can also be about our thoughts and belief systems about partnership and relationship, right? Not necessarily us even being in one, but what are your beliefs about relationships? What do you feel about relationships, or being in one or not being in one? You know, what are your ideas about it? What are your perceptions of being in relationship? So all of this can be part of it too. This can also be about choices. This is Major Arcana 6, and you know, there's two people involved in a relationship or partnership, so there could be a decision to make regarding a relationship. There could be the choice to make, right? Do I go down this path or do I go down this path? So the Lovers, when I think of the number 6, I think of as above, so below, right? What we envision above, we want to create and manifest below. But maybe what we have right now, or what we're experiencing right now in any type of relationship that we might be in, might not be exactly what we're envisioning. So we're wanting to make sure that we're visualizing what it is that we do want, balancing that. And maybe when we envision what we do want, especially on or around this new moon solar eclipse, again, don't have any expectations because it's a wild card energy, but this is, you know, it is kind of sending a signal out to the universe, right? And if you're not living in your friendships, your family relationships, or your romantic relationships, if you're not living in that vision, what you envision for yourself in partnership, then the universe might sweep that out of your life, basically, so that it can bring in what it is you are envisioning. And that's one of the reasons why maybe during eclipses, they say it's not a great time to put out intentions, because the energy is too topsy-turvy. It shakes things up, these eclipses. And we just kind of have to wait for the dust to settle, so to speak. We have to wait for the energies to settle before we make decisions about what we want to do next, where we want to go next, what we want to manifest next. All right, now the next card came out as 2 cards. So the first one of those, it's the 3 of Cups. So the 3 of Cups is actually about joy and happiness and enjoyment and blessings on an emotional level. It's often shown with 3 women, which this card, doesn't have the women in it. So it also makes me feel like this is about friendships, gathering with other people. And it doesn't have to be women, right? But I feel like groups, like we're gathering with more than one person. So it's beyond just a one-on-one romantic relationship here. This is about having fun with other people, connecting emotionally with other people, socializing with other people, finding the blessings in our connections with other people. And since we have a lot of Libra energy, of course, at the beginning of this month, Mercury is also in Libra up until it switches into Scorpio, just feels like this can be a very collaborative energy, like coming together again with people that share common interest or that are emotionally on the same page. We're sharing good feelings. We're all like kind of in this love energy with one another, basically. We're supporting one another. I think that's another thing with the 3 of Cups, is like we're here to support one another. But I feel like this can be a collaboration energy too. Maybe we're collaborating with other people that we feel emotionally connected to in regards to what's next on the path, right? Maybe it's not just what's next on the path for just me, but what's next on the path for humanity? What's next on the path for this group? How can we come together as a group and do something beautiful and wonderful that's feeling oriented, where we're supporting one another in our journey? Let's see what card came out with this. Okay, we've got the 4 of Flames. So the 4 of Flames, sometimes it is shown as kind of like a marriage card, a commitment card in relationship. This one doesn't have people, although it does have some roses here on either side of this bridge that's going towards this castle. But the 4 of Flames is, stability. The number 4 is about stability and groundedness. The Flames is a spiritual energy. It's fire, it's wands. And the wands is a spiritual suit. So we're bringing something into form, something spiritual, something creative. The fire is creative and passionate, maybe artistic. It's a visionary kind of energy. And again, we're bringing something into stability, and almost like our dreams are being able to manifest. A lot of people might dream of, living in a castle or having a big house or, whatever it might be. I think the castle just is representative of what it is that we want to manifest in our lives, which could be anything. It could be a relationship, right? Could be more finances and feelings of financial security. Could be happiness and joy. And again, since it came out with this card, I feel like if we come together again in support of connections with people, other people, maybe we can get to this vision more easily. Maybe either we're working together to create this vision, manifest this vision, or we're just supporting one another emotionally and what our dreams are, what our visions are, what it is that we want to create and manifest, what we're passionate about, what we're creating. So, here I feel like, again, the working together to attain this is part of what's happening here. And we do have like the sun rising almost like over the castle here, or you could say the sun is rising over the horizon. So again, this new moon solar eclipse could be bringing something new. It's highlighting something new. It's shining the light on the path forward for you at some point during this month. And then let's look at the last card. Okay, well, this is interesting. We have the Adept of Chalices. Now, in this deck, the Adept is the Knight. So we have the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Water. And the Knight is more of a younger, kind of passionate, vital, energized energy, right? And the Knight is, you know, I mean, it's usually the Knight is a masculine figure in the court cards, but it doesn't mean this has to be, you know, male and whatnot. I will say, though, that since we started out with the Lover's card here in this reading, and we're ending with the Knight of Water, Knight of Cups, this could be like a romantic gesture. This could be somebody sweeping in. Maybe it's a revitalization of a relationship you're in where they come in with a romantic gesture. Maybe this is somebody new that comes into your life that sweeps you off your feet. The Knight of Cups would be this very romantic, fantasy-like, loving, compassionate, you know, energy that kind of comes in and sweeps you off your feet. The Knight of Chalices, though, beyond being a person, of course, you could be embodying the energies of this romantic and emotional and fluid and intuitive, creative energy. Maybe those are the qualities you're needing to embody this month. This could also be, you know, as I look at the wave here, right? It's like, it almost looks like a bit of a tidal wave going on here. The person's kind of swimming in this cup, this chalice, but the wave is washing over him. So this could bring in some sudden emotional healing or sudden emotions or feelings regarding something that you weren't expecting that kind of wash over you. So any or all of these things are possible for this month. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the message from your angels and guides from the Gateway of Light Activation deck. And I might have used this deck for September monthly reading too because of the eclipse. I like to use this deck when, like, we're having eclipses because, you know, as the name of the deck suggests, gateway, right? It talks about a lot of times the gateway of or portal of energy that we're entering. So for those of you that chose the Rose Quartz was the first one. So special message for Rose Quartz people for the month of October, Rose Quartz. You know, this one in the middle keeps calling my attention, so I need to get to it there. The Divine Matrix. Okay, let's see what it says on the bottom. It says interconnectedness. So here we've got that interconnectedness kind of theme going on with the Libra energy. Interconnectedness, synchronicity, and God and you know the word, I can't even say it. The word coincidence, right? But it says God incidences. So I think what they're trying to say is watch for the coincidences because they're universally or God-led, right? God incidences. There, I said it. So the Divine Matrix, this is like going through this portal of this new moon solar eclipse into a divine matrix, not a 3D matrix, like the movie The Matrix, right? It's all about the 3D of what we're living in. But the divine matrix is this new and higher, more evolved, connecting with your higher soul self, connecting with the higher realms energy. And so as we're entering the divine matrix, we're met with this idea of we're all one, interconnectedness. We're all in this together. We're all souls having a human experience. We're interconnected. We should support one another, as that earlier message was talking about. And even when we have challenge with one another in relationship, we still have to remember that our souls came in to experience one another. We came in to experience something with one another and learn something from one another because we're interconnected as souls, right? And then, of course, the synchronicity, coincidence, you know, that kind of thing. So definitely pay attention to synchronistic events or meetings, aha moments, feelings of deja vu, feeling like, oh, I just thought about that or asked about that in my head, and now that seems to be the answer that's showing up. Pay attention to nature signs or animal totems. you know, any kind of intuitive insights that pop into your head. These are all things to pay attention to in the month of October. Again, these eclipses are opening a portal and opening a doorway. And when things just start to synchronize or fall into place, you know you're on the right path. And I think that's part of what this card is trying to imply here. So let's put that back in the deck. Let's see what the next message is. That would be for the strawberry quartz people. Okay, so if you've been hearing any background noises, I have my windows open, which I probably should have closed them before I did this recording. So I'm hearing like water sprinklers and trucks and things like that. Hopefully you're not hearing that too much. All right, strawberry quartz people, month of October. Strawberry quartz people. Oh, that one's sticking way up as soon as I open my eyes. Hathor light codes. The Hathor light codes. It says light immersion. You're immersing. Oh, I can't talk today. You're immersing yourself in light and light codes. Full system upgrade. You guys are getting a full system upgrade from these eclipses. And power recall, again, like Pluto turning back to direct motion. Now, not just on that day that Pluto's turning back to direct motion, because it moves so slowly, we're really going to be feeling that probably almost for the whole month, at least a week before and maybe a week after, but maybe longer than that. So it's time to take back your power. It's time to empower yourself by making choices based on what you feel is right for you, right? You're getting this full system upgrade, this evolutionary spurt of energy that's kind of catapulting you into a new direction, on a new path or a new way of seeing something. This person is immersed in light, right? So it would be a great thing to meditate and visualize the sparkles of light or the waterfalls of light showering down upon you from all directions, and just immersing yourself in this light energy. There's also, because this is Hathor, if any of you are connected to the Egyptian gods or goddesses, or maybe you've had a specific Egyptian lifetime that you may or may not know about, that also might be something that's coming in for you right now as well. Maybe you've got right now an Egyptian past life memory that's coming in, or maybe there's some sort of like Isis, you know, as a goddess, Egyptian goddess that's coming in to guide you right now. So those are also things to pay attention to. And then the last stone of choice was the flower agate, right? So flower agate people, for the month of October, cherry blossom agate, flower agate, special message. This one's calling my attention. Oh, Seraphim's Gateway. This is interesting because way back when I did the full moon lunar eclipse guided meditation on Zoom for people, which, by the way, if you want to join my monthly new moon and full moon guided meditations, please join my meetup group. Just go to meetup.com and look up Sacred Soul Empowerment. You'll see me in a video and know that it's me, but I do those for free every month. But I pulled this card for the full moon lunar eclipse that I did, the guided meditation. And Seraphim's Gateway says voice activation, angelic attunement, and divine support. So the Seraphim are angelic beings that are said to have like 6 wings, and you can see it's just this beautiful angelic being of light. There's 6 etheric wings going on here. You're very supported by a higher realm of angels right now, and a lot of angelic support that is surrounding you. You're getting even attuned again by the angels, and this can be part of the eclipse energies as well. So there's a higher activation and attunement of an angelic frequency that's going on for you. Again, it feels like you're immersing yourself in light energy here. Now, the voice activation part I think is very interesting. So you're needing to activate the throat chakra, speak your truth. Maybe this, I just heard light language. Maybe some of you do light language or need to learn about light language, or maybe you're just feeling like you're coming out with some light language and you're wondering if it's just gibberish, but no, it's not. Really look into activating the voice, and it doesn't have to be light language, but this could be about speaking. Maybe you're needing to speak or teach or even write, even though it's more of a writing thing. It's still using kind of like your voice coming through in a silent way with pen and paper or computer. But it's like we need to activate the voice. What you have to say is important. What you have to teach is important. What you have to share with others in support of one another is important. So call in the seraphim, those higher angelic frequencies, and ask them to guide you, attune you, and support you as you move forward on your path. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the October reading. I send you lots of love and light and many, many angel blessings. Namaste.